Hello, hello, everybody. This is our first SoulPod channel Q&A, and this is the first time we've gone live on Instagram, Substack, and YouTube all at the same time. So bear with us as we figure out this new platform. But we're really excited that we can connect with more of you. And I have my mom on today as MC, Donna. She's going to be helping to host the Q&A portion of the live stream when I go into a meditative state and connect into the channel experience. Welcome, Mom.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
And I'm just going to check that we are live on YouTube. And we are.
You recording?
And we will record here. Okay. All right, I think we are good. So join us. If you're on Instagram, you run into any trouble, you can always hop over to YouTube. If you run into issues on Substack, you can hop over to YouTube. So should have lots of options here. I'll give you all some background if you're newer to the channel experience with me. The first question that I get a lot of times is, what is a channel? Who is a channel? And the best way I know how to explain this is that it's kind of like Reiki. If you've trained in Reiki or you've experienced Reiki, it's a transference of energy. And this transference of energy in Reiki's, in the way of Reiki, is through the physical system as you bring in more energy to be able to then share as a vessel, as a transference vessel with another being, with another person for healing purposes. And this is similar, except the transmission is speaking. It's through the voice. It's also energetic. I don't know, people that have experienced this particular channel, sometimes you can also feel the energy. So I encourage you, when we go into the channeled state, to get very still and almost like a mini meditation yourself to connect in. And you may notice that energy. Who are these beings? Now, I'm not here to convince you of anything today. I like to lead with information. If the information is helpful, it's helpful. If it doesn't resonate, that's also okay. So really, it's informational first. It's a transmission. These beings, from my understanding, and I've been conversing with them for over a year now in this kind of initiatory experience, and they are 8th dimensional primarily. They hang out in the 8th dimension, but they can move through pretty much any dimension. They are highly advanced. They are a collective. They're not an individual entity, if you will. And it seems like they bring forward certain perspectives based on the questions, based on the person. And it's a co-creation with me. And it's also, I think, important, they made this very clear when they first came through, that they respect free will. This is up to you, whether you want to engage with them or not. But they are here because we're at a point in our species evolution that they have also been at. And there's many different things. I think we can all feel this coalescing at one time, right? There's a lot of different experiences, a lot of contraction and a lot of opportunity. But what they're really focused on is helping us to realize our interdimensionality. And this is very, very much an empowering relationship. They're not looking for us to give our power over to anybody. They want us to realize who it is that we actually are in our full power. So that's just a little intro to who this collective is. When I go into the meditation, it usually takes me just a few minutes, and Donna can speak during that time. And then I usually need just a few moments of stillness and quiet. And I'm going into a deep meditative state. I'm raising my vibration so that I can meet them in some capacity. They have a very intense high vibration. And they'll usually start off by sharing some sort of generalized message. Tends to be pretty to the point. And oftentimes, they'll then say that they're ready for questions. And the more personal the questions, it seems like the more excited that they get, because they're really interested in helping you in your journey and your process. So I encourage you, if you're on and you want to ask any questions, and Donna will remind us through this, especially for people who join, that maybe aren't on for the beginning introduction, that this is an opportunity for you to ask questions. Drop them in the chat, and then we'll pull them up one by one as we can. And we'll go from there. Anything you want to add, Mom?
Yeah, as we're learning this new platform, I can't see any guest on my view from any of the platforms, and I can't see any comments. So I think there's a
I think unless there are comments, we won't see any comments. So we're good on my end.
okay. You want to hit record?
Yep, we're recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Anything that you want to share about your experience or anything to think
Yes.
about?
I appreciate these beings because they tap into who I am and what I'm challenged with without me speaking. And I know that probably sounds really bizarre to a few, but they explain it like we all have a unique frequency. We are all individuals, and they just simply can tap into that and understand that frequency and offer assistance. You still have to do the work. You still have to open your heart. You still have to do your meditations and what it needs for you to let go of limiting beliefs and your next step on expanding your awareness. But they can help guide you and steer you so that it doesn't take a year and a half. It could take maybe 2 weeks. Which is what I've experienced. I've been on a self-love study for about a year and a half and trying to explore what that means. At first, I was like, of course I love myself, but no, that wasn't true. And when I delved into it, it was like, what? I didn't realize that. And the more I looked at it, the more I discovered that there was more underlying limiting beliefs that I was still carrying. And I had to work on that. And I got assistance through other avenues that have helped me with that because I'm not exactly, perfect. I can't.
None of us are. Yeah.
I can't always figure it out myself. So I appreciate others that do have some of it figured out and can help guide me.
Beautiful. Hi, Linda. So good to see you. Amazing. Well, thank you for that, Mom. I think that helps kind of build the context here. So without further ado, let's drop into the channel experience. I encourage you as I get quiet and tap in, take some time to tap in yourself, to get still, maybe have your journal out. Any questions that you have, I would go ahead and write those down. And just see what comes up for you as we go into this. The biggest components are an open mind, willingness, and curiosity. That's what makes the difference. Okay, I'll see you on the other side.
And as we wait for Crystal to go into state, I'd like to offer a few points of to guide your attention. And it's to ask the difficult question, the personal question that you've been struggling with and need some help with. Because the more personal your question is, the more pointed the advice will be. It will be directly advice for you. And as we all know, we're all different, we're all unique. We have different experiences and different personalities and different environments. So asking a question that is personal to you will gain you the most benefit. And yes, this is a public forum, and yes, other people will hear, but also think about how much your question can help others who are in the same place. And they may not have the courage to ask a question. They may not have the voice at this moment. And they can learn from you. And this is what we're all about, trying to be of service for everyone. So please feel free. You won't be able to voice your question on this platform. You'll need to type your question into the comments, and then we can move them over. This is a different platform, and we are not allowed to let the audience have a voice. At least we can't figure out how to do that yet. So I hope that makes sense.
Your voices are very much heard. And we are honored to be here in your presence today on your planet in this capacity. We understand that this is new. And with something that is new, the unknown, it can feel daunting. This relationship is new in some ways and old in others. But this time is important for your species, for each one of you as individuals. The opportunity is vast, and the time is ripe for a transition of sorts into a new way of operating, a new way of seeing yourselves, a new way of being. And we understand this newness, again, is daunting. It requires you to shed the old. Even if the old was not serving you, it is familiar. And the mind, the biological body, is very much tuned for the familiar. There is an ease that starts to enter your relationship to change as you start to realize yourselves as not limited to this biological form, which is tuned to the familiar. And as you start to awaken to the fullness of who it is that you really are, then the relationship with change shifts. And it shifts from feeling like change to feeling like creatorship. We appreciate this word. It is accurate. The opportunity is each of yours. And we have talked about before this increased capacity to choose. This also emerges from this reorientation to self. As you reorient, to your fullness, to your interdimensionality, this capacity to choose, this dancing with the unknown, this creatorship becomes realized, becomes actual, becomes practical. We understand that your species values practicality. But what is practicality? That which is obvious, that which is efficient, and that which you can easily connect with. And that is what we mean by a new type of practicality as you realize yourselves as these interdimensional beings. It is not so much, as you may use the term, woo-woo. It is actually very practical. It is scientific. But your relationship to what it means to be scientific is also going to shift, because it is not linear. It is not always reproducible, because dancing with the field experience from your light body's perspective is dancing with potentialities, meaning that is not yet tangible. It exists as a possibility of experience, infinite possibilities of experience. That becomes your new playground. And we are here to walk you into that playground, to orient you to the different rides, so to speak, the different experiences. So we very much view this, and we have found that it is very helpful to orient towards playfulness in this journey, joy, starting to reorient to change as exciting, not daunting. Becoming, as Crystal likes to say, the spiritual scientist, experimenting, discovering what works for you, what may not work for you. That is your individual journey and your collective journey. We are ready for your questions.
Well, I'm hoping, Linda, that you would have a question today. And in the meantime, as she's gathering her thoughts, I know I have gotten guidance from you many, many, many times, and I am continuing to work on the things that you have suggested. It feels lighter now. It feels easier, and I am much more at peace. So, given where I am now, and your advice last time was to work on opening my heart, I have been practicing that, and I'm wondering if you're seeing any improvement.
Hello, Donna. Hmm. Nothing stays static. So, yes, we could say there is improvement, there is shifting happening. Sometimes it can feel like it's a step back and then two steps forward. But this experience is not linear. It is not a 1, 2, 3 type of experience. And so, this question you're asking, we would also apply to anyone who listens. Do not feel like you are failing if you take what is perceived to be a step backwards. This is simply you reorienting to what it is that you desire to experience. And sometimes in that step backwards, that clarity can become more crystallized, more clear. And so instead of thinking of that as a failure or as there being something wrong, especially those of you who are doing spiritual work in this work of interdimensionality, of what you call awakening, the pressure to always be accelerating can be stopping you in some ways as well, though we understand that there is a desire for that acceleration, and it will come. But what we are pointing to here for all of you is to use those moments where it feels like you've stepped back, you've stepped down, you've condensed, you've become a little more static. View that as an opportunity for refinement, for sitting in it. It does not mean that anything is wrong with you. It simply means there is a need for spaciousness, for exploration, for rest, because the physical body does come along with you in this realm. And it needs time and space because it is within time and space, at least right now, to catch up with these shifts. As we've told Crystal, this discomfort is not necessarily meaning that there is something wrong. It means that there is spaciousness, rest, reflection, what you call integration, needed. Coming back to you, Donna, we see your journey, and we would use the word impressed with your dedication. It takes you far. There is an opportunity for you to let the barriers around yourself, these barriers are there not just in your heart space, but around your energy in general, for perceived protection. And they are now much more pliable than they used to be. And again, these serve a purpose, this way of running energy. So again, it's not necessarily meaning that there is anything wrong. It just is. And as we mentioned earlier, there is this increased capacity to choose. And you can choose whether to keep these barriers up or to allow them to dissolve. What we are showing Crystal visually is a fish in a bowl in an ocean. The fish is still very comfortable in its bowl in the ocean. It's not quite ready to swim out the top as it easily can. And the fish can see through the glass into the vastness of the beyond that it is already in. It is already done. But it can choose to stay within that container. And when it is ready, it can start to venture out through the top of the fishbowl into the deeper exploration. We hope that this resonates and helps.
Yes, I appreciate the analogy. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question from Jennifer. She says, and I believe I can tap on that and we can all see that question. No, so I'll read it out. It says, I'm looking for steps forward in finding my greater path. I've been trying to meditate and manifest, but still hitting walls with belief, lack of direction, and attachments. Where to start?
Hmm. Thank you, Jennifer. We understand your question. You've already started. You are well on your way. This questioning, this inquiry is a part of the process, and you are asking very powerful questions. Continue to ask them. Belief can be a tricky thing for you, for all of you in this realm. Belief is of the mind, what Crystal calls the analytical mind. It is amalgamation of thought oriented towards an expectation. This does not always serve you, though it can, as a way to direct your desires, what it is that you want to experience. But at some point in your exploration of your own consciousness, belief fragments and direct experience starts to become more of your compass, more able to direct you into the depths of who it is that you are. So hold your beliefs very lightly. Explore your beliefs. Many of you on your planet, understandably, are not quite aware of what it is you actually believe, these amalgamations of thought. And so they run in the background of the biological mind, creating patterns, some that serve, most that don't. So this analysis, this introspection, as is evidenced by your questions, is certainly a part of this realization of who it is that you really are. Without introspection, without this investigation, this digging into your own minds, you can be run by these patterns, not by anything outside of you, but through the unexamined psyche. As far as your question on where to start, as we said, you already have. We would continue to explore these questions in the meditative state. Pick one. Explore it deeper with your analytical mind. In your journal. Close your journal. Go into the meditative experience. Even if just for a moment you experience the best word that we have found for it in your language is spaciousness. For just a moment, when you can access that spaciousness, there is something emerging in that spaciousness. With the intent already set in motion before you went into meditation, it is naturally carried as a kind of momentum, if you will, into your experience, and simply receive once you meet the spaciousness. Let go deeper, surrender further, and if the mind comes back in, do not judge it. Simply become aware of your experience without judging it. That for you will be very helpful in your journey, and we hope that helps.
Thank you. The next question is from Linda. She asks, what truth about myself have I been avoiding, and what could change everything? With love and gratitude.
Again, powerful questions. Linda, you may not be surprised to hear us say that it's your own power that's asking to be fully realized at this time. That your capacity is much larger than you're aware of in the physical form. That your knowledge within this realm even is extensive. There is some fear that you have of taking up space, if we were to use that phrase. We understand this fear because as you start to take up space in your wholeness within a realm that has some resistance to those beings who step forward first on the front of the wave, if you will, it can feel like there is more at risk. But what really is at risk? Truly. The wave is energy, and you are safe within it and on it and riding it. So the fear has no real reality to it. But we understand that in the physical form, in your incarnation, there is fear. And this could be tied, yes, to past life experience, parallel life experience, where there was persecution, as there was for so many of you, because you have experienced so many different experiences. So, what is being asked of you right now requires courage. It requires a new relationship with this fear of taking up space. And that fear, in your case, can sometimes be related to, and Crystal may be able to also relate to this, that you taking up space means that there's less for others. That is a limiting belief. As you take up space, you create permission and an example of how others can do the same. And more space is created. So, those of you that are feeling this leadership call, this is that time. And so it requires this work of the lower dimensions of self to be released so that you can take up space. And we are showing Crystal an image of this beautiful energy expanding around you and expanding further and further out in a way that you have not yet run your energy in this lifetime. But now is that time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question is from Liz Franks. What am I being asked to trust before I fully see the outcome? And what part of my identity am I protecting that is preventing the next version of life from arriving?
Hello, Liz. Again, we are honored by these questions. In your particular case, you've experienced great expansion in certain areas of life where there is a more easeful connection to worthiness. You're being asked to round out this experience of worthiness in other dimensions of your experience. So, the path, when you ask about the path forward, that will emerge from your work on activating your worthiness. What do we mean by worthiness? It's a remembering. It is power. It is empowerment. It is the inner fire within you. It is the momentum of the universe towards oneness and wholeness. This subtle but powerful current. Let go of the how. Let go of the what. We know this is a tall ask for your species, but it is also true that as you let go of it and you focus on this rounding out of your experience of worthiness, feeling it in the now, in your body, in your relationships, in your work, do not forget who it is that you are. A powerful, interdimensional, infinite being experiencing a facet of this reality, a limited facet. When you embody that knowing, not as a belief, but as a knowing, the world around you will meet you in, we will use the word, miraculous ways. But really, it is very scientific because your new way of running your energy has to, this is law, create a new experience around you. So this is a bit backwards in some ways. And yes, this is a conversation around what you call manifestation. But it starts very much internally, very much within, and secondarily to that is what we call conscious doing out in the world. Aligned doing, only taking the steps when you feel that inner fire within, that worthiness within, the power within, then take action, make choices. You will find great alignment and access for what's next through that process. Thank you, Liz.
Wonderful. The next question is from Julie Drowlard. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Her question is, we are in the now. My journey with this collective has been magical. I now keep asking myself, where should I go from here? Letting go to choose in the now is hard. Where and how?
Thank you. We understand the challenge that you're pointing to. It is challenging. the letting go that you mention, it can sometimes feel to your physical form paradoxical. Oftentimes, it may feel like the tighter you hold, the more secure you are, the more sure you are. Certainty, we will be bold enough to say it, can sometimes be a trap. It is a trap. The grasping on certainty. To welcome your interdimensional experience requires you to move through the head of the needle, to surrender in a way that is new to you. But this surrendering is simultaneously a releasing of the grip of certainty and a falling backwards, trust and faith in who it is that you are. Those two components come together. To bring it back to you and your experience, you are already doing this work. There is an opportunity, as we were talking about earlier, in that spaciousness to let go further. To let the now envelop you so that there is less and less distinction between you and it. Practically, what do we mean? When you are in your meditation and you become aware of a thought, in that moment of awareness of the thought, you have entered the transcendent dimension of now. That is your entry point, not a failure. From there, see if you can shorten the distance between you and the judgment of that thought. Simply letting it be, drifting through your experience, and allowing this spaciousness of the present moment, which is all that there is. So you're never necessarily out of it, because it is the only thing that exists. It is simply altering the lens through which you are perceiving your experience. Becoming interdimensional requires that lens to be merged with a degree of clarity so that you can more deeply realize the truth of what already is. In your world, it is like taking off the rose-colored glasses, perceiving through your own eyes the reality of reality. We understand this can be difficult to understand from the analytical mind in this dimension. But each moment that you have, that you access this spaciousness, you're becoming more and more aware of the power of this moment. That presence is the doorway into interdimensionality. And it is not meeting it, it is letting go of all the things that are layered onto your glasses of perception. That is false. We will balance this answer with also saying that that is purposeful for this dimension of experience, to be within this framing, within this perception. That is not a mistake. It's only an experience. And the journey from that to the transcendent dimension is a journey of joy, of exploration, and of realization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We just have comments of people really thanking you for that was really powerful and very helpful. I don't have any other questions right now. Is there anything that the collective would like to share with the audience at this time?
We are very optimistic. We are deeply grateful. We appreciate and respect you as individuals and as a collective. We are here to assist, to be of service. And you can meet us yourselves in meditation. Crystal, in this channeled experience, is one way of contact. You, each of you, can experience this type of contact and beyond in many different forms, with many different love and above frequencies, as Crystal likes to say. That is within your power, and we are available. Thank you. We are complete.
Thank you. As we let Crystal gather her awareness back into the present 3D world, sorry, Liz, I didn't get to ask your second question there, but perhaps they can answer it for you in your next meditation. I hope this provided you with a lot of value. It did for me. And I feel very grateful to have the contact with such beings that are very loving and caring and want to be of service for us all. It's pretty amazing to me. I love the image of the fish bowl, the fish in the bowl, in the ocean, looking through the glass, seeing the ocean, and yet being a little afraid to go out into the ocean. It just kind of seems so silly, but we like our fishbowl. We're comfortable there. We know what's in the water. We know the temperature of the water. We know where our food is there, and we're just going to stay in our bowl. So, it's a great analogy. Great. All we have to do is swim out. It's just
So,
open.
yeah, it's open. That was funny. They kept on showing me that. I was like, okay.
Felt like Nemo,
It actually, the fish looked like Nemo. Yeah. That was cool. That was cool.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Ooh. Well, thank you all. That was really always interesting for me. Always such a fascinating experience. Each time is different. Beautiful questions. I could feel they're very, very, and I guess impressed is the right word. Very much appreciated the questions. Really beautiful. Everybody that participated. Thank you.
Well, this is how we learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
We learn on our own, but we can learn with velocity from others. So I really appreciate everyone that's here. So thank you all very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mom, for facilitating.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great job. I appreciate it. Until next time, Appreciate all of you. Linda, Liz, Julie,
Julie,
Jennifer. Yeah, appreciate all of you. And until next time, let us know if you would like to do this again, what type of cadence we can jump on. We will be posting a recording shortly, and so you can always listen back to that. I find that sometimes when I listen back, you can get more from it. And I also encourage you to journal after this, maybe even meditate after this, and then journal to really bring everything into your experience. All right. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, light beings, we will see you. Thank you again. So much love. Mwah.